Hey guys, welcome back to Genealogy and Chronology. Today we are back to Middle Earth and we will be discussing about all the different people of Middle Earth. I post 2 new videos each month concerning history, chronology and lore. Consider subscribing to my channel and following me on Reddit to find the high resolution copy of this chart. Tolkien's Middle Earth isn't just about hobbits and elves. It's a world filled with incredible array of races and cultures. In this video we will go through the various races that make Middle Earth so captivating. Starting from the beginning, Eru Ilúvatar, the supreme deity of Tolkien's universe, created the Ainur out of his thought before the world itself. The Ainur are the highest order of supernatural beings in Tolkien's mythology. The most prominent Ainu was Melkor, also known as Morgoth, who later became the primary antagonist in Middle-earth. Melkor's rebellion and desire for power set the stage for much of the conflict in Tolkien's stories. The Ainur were broadly divided into two classes, the Valar and the Maiar. The Valar were those Ainur who chose to descend into the physical Arda and help shape it at the behest of Eru Ilúvatar. There are 15 Valar in total, each associated with a specific aspect of nature or governance. Some of the most notable Valar include Manwë, the king of the Valar, Varda, Ulmo, and Aule. The Valar have great powers and are responsible for maintaining order and balance in the world. They also act as protectors of the different races inhabiting Middle-earth. Moving on to the Maya, they were lesser Ainur who descended into the physical world to assist the Valar in its shaping and the development. The most famous Maya was Sauron, who initially served under Vala Aule and later got seduced by Melkor. Sauron would later succeed Morgoth as the second Dark Lord following the defeat of Morgoth in War of Wrath. The Balrogs are also considered as Maiar. Some famous Maya include the Istari, which was the order of the wizards. Gandalf, Saruman, Radagast and 2 other wizards were sent by the Valar to aid the free people of Middle-earth against the threats of Sauron. Another famous Maya is Melian, who married Eleuthingol and she was the mother of Luthien. Moving on to the elves. The elves were one of the most iconic and enigmatic races in Tolkien's world. Elves are known for their immortality and deep connection to nature. The elves were creation of Eru himself and they were awakened in 1050 of Years of the Trees in Middle-earth. The elves diverged into multiple groups on their journey to Aman. Those who departed to Aman were known as the West Elves, a group which further divided into the Noldor, the Teleri and the Vanyar based on the leaders. Some of the elves from the group of Teleri would stay behind in Aman, becoming the subgroup of the Sindar, Lyquendi and Green Elves, whereas the Noldor and the Vanyar settled in Aman. Elves from the group of Teleri who finally did journey west are known as the Falmari. Following the theft of the Silmarils, most of the Noldor returned to Middle-earth, including Fëanor and his sons, Fingolfin and his sons, and the children of Finarfin. Coming to men, also known as Secondborn, the most widespread race in Middle-earth. Men were awakened with the rising of the sun. The race of men was inflicted by Morgoth in early days of Years of the Sun, following which many noblemen journeyed west and later served under the Elves of Beleriand. This included the House of Beor, the House of Haleth, and the House of Hedor. Men from these houses would go on to marry elven princesses, and from those unions would be born the half-elves. And from those half-elves we get the Númenóreans, who were the ancestors of the Dúnedain. There were other races of men in Middle-earth as well, including the Haradrim, Easterlings, and the Dunlendings, who sided with the dark forces and harassed the free people of Middle-earth. The hobbits are also classified as a subset of the race of men. 3 hobbit breeds are known to us, which were the Stuars, the Falohites, and the Harfoots. All these branches of hobbits would mix and intermarry and later settle the lands of the Shire, the Buckland, and the Bree. Another branch of men, known as the Northmen, consisted of many sub-races, including the Men of Dale, the Woodmen of Mirkwood, the Beornings, and the Eotheod. The Eotheod were the ancestors of the Rohirrim. We also have the Trúdain, who were distinct from the other races of men in Middle-earth due to their unique physical appearance. They are described as short and stocky with weathered and wrinkled skin. Now let's journey underground to explore the dwarfs. They were created by Vala Aule, one of the Valar, even before the awakening of elves and men. Aule created 7 dwarfs as his first attempt at bringing life to his vision. These dwarfs were the 7 fathers of the dwarfs. Eru knew of Orlais' actions and confronted him. Eru emphasized that only he had the power to truly create life. To Orlais' surprise, Eru did not destroy the dwarfs but allowed them to live. Eru then granted independent lives to the dwarfs. However, he also made some modifications to Orlais' original designs, which included giving them a strong sense of mortality. The dwarves would not live as long as elves, but would have greater endurance and resilience compared to men. The dwarves were awakened after the awakening of elves. The seven dwarf fathers eventually became the leaders of different dwarven clans and settled in various parts of Middle-earth. We do not know anything significant about the dwarfs of Rhûn, which consisted of Ironfists, Stiffbeards, Stonefoots, and Blacklocks. The Longbeards settled in Khazad-dûm, whereas the dwarves of Firebeards and Broadbeams settled in the Blue Mountains. Following the end of the first stage, the dwarves of Firebeard and Broadbeam clans merged with the Longbeards and settled in Khazad-dûm. But Middle-earth isn't just about elves, dwarves, hobbits, and men. It's also home to some truly unique races like the Ents, the ancient tree herders who protected the forest created by Eru on the behest of Yavanna. The eagles of Manwë, sung into existence by himself and Yavanna, and the mysterious Tom Bombadil and his wife Goldberry. Moving on to the Nazgûl, they were Sauron's most trusted and powerful servants. Originally from different races, these men were given 9 rings of power, which transformed them into ring wraiths. We also have Mouth of Sauron, who served as Lieutenant of Barad-dûr. Speaking of Sauron, we also have to discuss about orcs. They are creatures of darkness and chaos, created by the Dark Lord Morgoth during the early days. The origins and nature of orcs are a subject of debate and ambiguity in Tolkien's writing. One theory is that orcs were originally elves who were captured and tortured by Morgoth, resulting in their transformation into a twisted and evil form. Another theory suggests that some orcs may have been created by corrupting the first men who allied with the Morgoth during the early days of Middle-earth. Tolkien also considered the idea that Morgoth might have created orcs through some form of dark magic or breeding experiment. Within Tolkien's works, there are several distinct varieties or breeds of orcs, including the orcs of Mordor, from whom we get the Uruk-hai, orcs of East, the hobgoblins, and the orcs of Misty Mountains. We also have orcs of Isengard, who were likely created by the mixed breeding of men and orcs. Morgoth not just created orcs but also trolls in the mockery of Ents, and he also bred dragons. We also have other creatures who served as affiliates of Morgoth and Sauron, and the origin of these creatures is unclear. These include the Watcher in the Water, the Barrow-wights, Gothmog, who served as lieutenant of Minas Morgul, Ungoliant and her child, Shelob, Turin-Wettil, who was a vampire herald, and lastly, Drogluin, the first werewolf and ancestor of all the Vargs. There you have it, a glimpse into the rich tapestry of races that inhabit J.R.R. Tolkien's Legendarium. From the eternal beauty of the elves to the craftsmanship of the dwarfs and the unassuming bravery of the hobbits, Middle-earth is a world teeming with diversity and culture. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more exploration of the fantastic realms of literature and fantasy. If you like my work, consider supporting me on Patreon, or you can buy me a coffee by scanning this QR code. Please like the video and share it with your Tolkien friends and family. Until next time, happy adventuring. Thank you.